Hi, this is Dhirendra. Welcome to the channel. Over here in this video, we will take forward from the last video about the evolution of history of psychology, wherein we studied around 1500 years of journey from 1500 years BC till Christian era, like before the Christ was born. So we will take forward the next journey of say next 1500 years just before the Enlightenment period began, wherein we will see what all happened during these medieval times. So long before Christ was born, the souls of Hippocrates, Aristotle, Socrates were gone. But at the same time we see arrival of another man, or another man during Christ period was born. The name was Aulus Celsus. The full name was Aulus Cornelius Celsus. He was a Roman, and he was an encyclopedist. So basically he was a medical encyclopedist. So he had written down 8 books, out of which the 3rd book contained issues of mind and depressions. So what are the solutions he offered? So his solutions were kind of varied. It were from one extreme of putting someone into the darkness, bleeding, letting them bleed, or kind of threatening them, to the other extreme of letting them enjoy food, letting them enjoy music, travel, sports, in order to treat the mental disorders. So I will be kind of putting in 3 basic or 4 basic components of his books over here to kind of see that you can relate to what he was proposing. He is important for one of the other important thing, and the other important thing is he developed, or he coined a word called insane. So this is the man called Celsus who had coined this word. So be thankful in case whenever you are using word insanity or insane. The other individual who was like very successful and very renowned, and whose work was influential and till 15th century or 16th century, was Galen, the son of an architect. He was well educated, he has traveled a lot, and he was a surgeon and a physicist. His primary contributions include anatomic investigations, wherein he used to dissect, vivisect humans who were washed away from seas or rivers onto the shores. But since there was a prohibition of dissection, so he started dissecting other animals like apes or pigs, and he wrote down or deliberated or in a more systematic way. You can understand his importance from the fact that man was read, deliberated, discussed for next 1500 years. To give you a perspective, the man was born around 150 AD, survived till 215 or something during that period. He was influential for his work in anatomy, but his works were still used for the next 1000 years in different fields of medicines. And he basically focused on 4 humors at which theory of philosophy or study at that point of time. Those 4 humors included that one was blood, the other was phlegm, the other 3rd component was yellow bile, the last was the black bile. So the body was divided into 4 different domains under which it could be studied, and the medicines could be proposed, or the solution for the diseases could be proposed. So he basically was the advocate for Hippocrates, wherein the different inputs which we take were responsible for diseases was the highlight of Hippocrates' work. So moving forward, what we see is the development of various other institutions during the coming centuries. One of the famous individuals who were born around 4th century, Ponticus, he was the one who kind of proposed a solution of introspection monastic aesthetic way of living to help fight these mental issues. The word he used were demons. We can kind of understand what was the normal psychology of society, great thinkers at that point of time about mental illness. So the lives of these mental patients would have been like hell, to be honest. Considering the fact that not much scientific development has happened, the society at large didn't know the solutions. So all they wanted was a dissociation from people suffering from mental illness, as it assumed that they were possessed by demons. This fact is known from the work or from one of the famous personalities who was born in 7th century. His name was Paul of Aegina. He suggested to treat hysteria, people need to be tied, their limbs need to be tied with ropes. For treating mania, he suggested people tied to a mattress and then put in a basket which will be hanging from the ceiling. So these were the weird, right now looks laughable solutions, but at those times those developments and those works must have been taken seriously. That's why they find a mention in the historical books. Also, going forward, after the arrival of Islam, we find foundations of something called Bimaristans in Baghdad. So basically that means the treatment center or health facility for people from diseases. One of the individuals we cannot miss is Ahmad al-Balkhi, wherein he was prominent for his emphasis on the importance of mental disorders to keep human healthy. He was of the view that not only bodily problems needs to be solved, but to be enjoying the full life, we need to focus on mental disorders. So his work is also numerously written and depicted. One of the popular doctors born in 9th century named Al-Razi, he was the one who was famous for his observations, propositions in medicines, and he went on to become a doctor in the hospitals of Baghdad and Tehran. As a teacher, he was very popular because he proposed equal treatment despite their economic hierarchy, and his contribution can be known from the fact that he had written many books on religion, on philosophy, on astronomy, and there are around 200 manuscripts still left about his writings and his teachings. The science as a subject is a slow, gradual process wherein coming scientists or the future scientists use the work of the previous scientists and hypothesize and then come out to new findings. So this has happened, but at the same time world was changing from Christianity dominance to the evolution of Islam, which led to many other prominent philosophers and thinkers from say Egypt or from Tehran, Iran. So and at that point we find not many philosophical thinkers from the Western country. So in the new video we will talk about Enlightenment era. Thank you for your time.